Hello, good evening. So today has been a really productive day. I am pretty well winging it. I am painting, or I have been painting my room that I generally do my go lives out of. And when I'm done, I will totally be posting pictures of my revamped room because I'm totally making it me. And of course, if you guys follow my personal page, you saw that I replanted a lot of the babies from my succulent that I've had for some number of years now. It's been a couple years, and I've managed to keep it alive, and she is prospering and just doing well. So because I'm outside in my backyard and I've already got the camera set up to where you guys will be able to see more so the table instead of my face, I just wanted to briefly say hi. And of course, thank you in advance for your flexibility with catching this go live, say at 8:30 instead of 8, because by the time I put a second coat of paint on my walls in my room that I'm working on, it was like 7:50 and I still had to eat supper. So I appreciate y'all immensely. And so now we're just going to dive right into it. Let me go ahead and set this camera down here, just so you guys can see what I'm doing. And I've got my little candle lit here. I'm going to move this guy over a bit too, because there's something about a candle being lit that just sets the mood, right? Especially when it comes to setting intentions and all that. So with Celtic crosses, you get a lot more information from a bigger spread versus a smaller one. And given the complexity of that spread, if you're looking at charging people for tarot, this would be the spread where you can certainly charge more, because we are looking at various life aspects with this spread. So if you haven't caught my other go live that I did and I downloaded to YouTube about 3-card spreads, feel free to check that out. I may go over some similar concepts as I shuffle my cards, just in case people didn't see that go live. So I generally, when I read, especially for other people, I generally bring 3 different decks. And of the 3, they generally have different styles of artwork, use of color. That way somebody can check it out and pick the deck that resonates with them most. And I simply hand my deck over, which some readers do not like doing that. So it's just whatever floats your boat. But for me, I want people's energy to be on the cards. I ask them to shuffle. I just kind of think about what's going on in their life, what they would like clarity or insight on. And so, yeah, I just kind of like have them do that for a bit until, like I tell them, they feel like they're at a very good stopping point with shuffling. And then they hand the deck back over to me, and then I do the spread with them, okay? And most of the time, people may or may not tell me what is bugging them or what they need clarity on. For the most part, I go in blind, and I'm actually quite comfortable and used to doing that. So with this, I'm laying my spread out, and I'm going to adjust my camera here in a bit so you guys can see the position of the cards on my table. And then I save this deck because, like we covered when we went over the 3-card spreads, we might need clarifiers. So it's nice to have the deck stay in the shuffled pattern that it's already in. Let's see here. So, for the most part, I'll move the camera around every so often so you guys can see it. I'm kind of, again, I'm winging it because I'm outside. Honor says, this was the first spread I learned, but I haven't done it in many years. Oh, very cool. And Tim, I see you're on here. I did forget my laptop. So if you wouldn't mind bringing it out here to me, I'll set it up on this table. Even though I'm seeing comments on my go live, I want to make sure that I see everybody's, because ideally I like interaction, okay? That way I know in real time what your questions or concerns are. So what I do is I then, after basically, let me lift this camera up so you guys can see it. I'm going to kind of reverse it for a second. So this is my current spread. This is what a Celtic looks like. So basically, it's in the shape of a cross. Okay, so you've got, you know, your cards going this way with one going across, the one in the middle. You've got these, and then you've got these cards. Okay, so just to kind of give you guys a little bit of insight as to what that looks like. All right, now, so what I do is I go ahead and I turn them all over. And I do so in a methodical fashion. I'm just kind of like checking out the big picture. It is like a very big math equation. Like, think back when we were in school and we were taking, say, very advanced math classes, and you're having to make sense of it. Or kind of like a Mad Lib where you're filling in the blanks, like the unknown. Because basically tarot tells a story. So I look at what I have, and go figure, we've got a lot going on with the spread, so we're just going to jump right in. So the card in the middle of the cross is a Ten of Cups, which from our tarot teaching moments and so forth, and for many of you who have read for a long time, we all know that that's a very good card, which shows home, family, comfort, happiness. So this center card is known as the overall theme, or also called the significator of the reading. So this, all of the cards pretty well are more so into this central theme. So with this reading, we have the focus on family. This could also be friendships and so forth. So it's our relationships with other people. Okay. Now, the card that crossed this card, which was in the center of our Celtic spread, this would be like the card that crosses quite literally our significator. So we have the Knight of Swords. So like and again, I'm going to just talk like I'm trying to do a reading basically, because I don't want to sound redundant or, you know, what have you. But with the Knight of Swords, what we're looking at is, even though things at home are good to go, you know, we've got a very good support system, friendships and family are good, we're looking at either ourselves or the person we're reading for taking action. So there's been a thought process going on in their head that they're about to move forward on, because the swords are all about communication, action, thought processes, that type of thing, right? And it's moving quite swiftly. So even though things are good in this person's life when it comes to other people, we're seeing movement with this card. Now, at the very foundation of this reading, which would be the card here, which would be like the bottom of the cross, we have the foundation, which is the Page of Swords. So prior to this person taking action, okay, we have our page where they were very much kind of green, naive, putting quite a bit of thought into whatever they're taking action on. But they must not have, you know, up until very recently wanted to take action on it. It was one of those things that more than likely they were questioning, like, do I really want to shake things up in life because things are working out so well? Do I really want to take action on, say, a new career, a new relationship, or something to deal with finances or whatnot? Now, when I look at this overall spread, I get more of the impression that we're looking still at relationships, and I'll get into why. Now, when we look at the card in the past, that would be the card which would be the left of the cross. It would be the left. That would be the past 3 to 6 months. So we have a major arcana card showing strength. So this shows that this person has been very focused on achieving their goals, whatever those may have been, because again, keep in mind, whether it be for yourself or if you're reading for other people, you're going to have a bit of a dialogue already going on usually it's from the first card. It's like you're having coffee with somebody. They're going to start telling you, oh yeah, that resonates with me or whatnot, and they'll tell you why, or they'll tell you, oh, it doesn't really resonate with me, and we'll get to what to do with that. And then, thank you, honey. Thanks for bringing my laptop out. And now I'm going to pull up my Go Live just to make sure I can see comments on this. Because I get it's a monster of a spread, you know. So let me see here. Okay, so when we're looking in the past or even the future, which is the card here to the right, we're looking at the past 3 to 6 months going backward, or you're looking at 3 to 6 months going forward, generally speaking. So going back in the past, we're looking at somebody who has been very much focused. It's almost like they've got blinders on achieving an outcome, or say a better life for themselves or their family, because this reading is very much focused on family, even though at times it was intimidating to do so, that they did hold steady. And then the Magician as our future card. This is another major arcana card. Okay, so again, we're going 3 to 6 months in the future. It's showing that this person may end up being like, either they're going to mentor somebody, teaching them their hobby or their profession, or this is somebody that's going to come into their life, because remember, early on with our foundation and that crossing card over our significator, we have swords, we've got thought processes, action, communication, right? We're starting something new and taking that forward momentum. So with our Magician card, this very much could mean that this is somebody, either the person you're reading for or you, or again, it's somebody that they're going to encounter that's going to offer that knowledge and experience to help them with their endeavor, you know. And this is very early on, saying the Fool's Journey with the Major Arcana, because remember, this is card number 1 in the Major Arcana. So after our Fool jumps off the side of the cliff, being very bright-eyed, right, looking to the future, not really thinking too much about what could happen, just being very enthusiastic. This is the first individual that they encounter. And, you know, and again, we have all the symbols that we reviewed with our tarot teaching moments about the number 8, the feedback, the give and take. So we have that exchange of energy there. We have all the suits in play with the Magician, which this individual has mastery. So this is somebody with some mastery. Now, the top of the cross, okay, would be the outcome that either yourself or the querent is concerned about by taking this forward momentum and action. They're concerned that this is what's going to happen. And we got the Tower card. So this person, and it makes sense, they're about to shake things up by going somewhere totally new on their life journey, even though life is good for themselves and their family, right? Well, at the very top of this, we have this, what the potential outcome is per the querent, or as per us, what we're thinking is going to happen, which would be everything going to you know what in a basket, not thinking that things are going to work out really well, right? And being very scared and intimidated. Now we're going to kind of move down over to these cards on the side here. I'm going to move this down a bit. So we have 4 of them that go up, okay? So the one down here that we're going to start off would be considered the U card. So this one describes the person that we're reading for. And with the Star card, like we know, this is more so maintaining a balance. It's a state of peaceful reflection and hope. So it makes sense before this person dives into whatever this new endeavor or relationship is, that they are hopeful, even though we already know so far from this reading, they're already scared though. They're afraid a tower moment's going to come, but yet they are hopeful. Now, Honor says, oof, not the tower. But yes, it can be a fear or a state of mind. Exactly, Honor. And this is somebody that, whether it be ourselves or somebody else, very much inside their head, they're making the moves. They went from that page energy to that Knight of Swords energy to where they're taking that forward momentum and action, but they're scared. Just like any of us, when we're not confident in ourselves and we question ourselves, we worry that we are going to cause a tower moment and not only have it impact ourselves, but our family as well. And then the guilt that would come from that. So that would be like the overall energy of this, right? So this would be the U card, which would be the very first one as we move up these cards. Now, the one that's above it, okay, would be considered the external environment. Like this would be other people. And we have the Six of Cups. So this would be like the people who are our support system. It's our family, friends, work colleagues. It's showing also the need to tend to ourselves, because what you see here is like that childlike energy of the older child helping the younger one, and just that beautiful growth and the flowers and the greenery, and you get that feel of that innocence. So it's just really looking at how, yes, this journey would be scary, but they have people around them to help support them and encourage them, who are going to love them and care about them no matter what. Now, Honor says, I'd also say a mild warning: the Knight of Swords can be impulsive, which is true, and lead there. So just have all chicks in a row. Yes, that's a very good point, Honor, because yes, he is very impulsive as far as the energy goes. And she says, ooh, now with this, I feel like the Knight of Swords impulsiveness would be forgetting we have support. Oh, I love how you think. Exactly. Because just like Honor pointed out, and that's why I love how our group offers different insights. With this energy, Honor is absolutely on the money. This is probably the fastest moving knight in all of tarot. This is very impulsive energy, moving forward very quickly, you know, without much thought. Not like back when we were having our page energy, where the pages are messengers and more green and naive. But like she's saying, because the knight is moving so fast in a forward momentum, they may forget that, wait, there's other people that could be there to help them, that it doesn't have to be all on them, all that pressure and stress, okay? Now, the next card up, which would be our third up, which would be our hopes and fears. Now, we already know that, okay, for a potential outcome as per ourselves or the querent, we're thinking tower energy. But for hopes and fears, we've got the Queen of Wands. So this, whatever this endeavor is that our person or ourselves is thinking about moving into, it's something that holds the potential to be very exciting, creative, awaken something in them. It could be once they've obtained their goals, okay, so now what? What's next? That taking this forward momentum and possibly even being successful, which you don't know unless you take a chance, could lead to this very sexy, creative, confident energy, just like our Queen of Wands is, and owning it and being very good at it, you know, and having a bit of that sun energy. Like we've got our sunflowers there, you know, and like we learned about in our tarot teaching moments, there's a little black cat. So somebody may literally have a pet that they love and care about, or again, remember, it's a nod to the occult. So this is somebody's faith. So even if somebody's not into, say, witchy type, you know, religions and all this stuff, this could be your little furry friend, or it could be your faith, you know. So that's another way of looking at that one. And then we have an actual outcome. And honestly, with this card, this is kind of a Debbie Downer, for lack of a better word. We have the Five of Pentacles, okay, which shows that struggle. The fives in tarot always show conflict. So this goes to show that it's not going to be smooth sailing to where somebody is going to take off into this new relationship or endeavor and they're just going to immediately just kick some butt and be awesome at what they do. Like most of us know, generally it's about the first year with any new endeavor, job, you feel uncomfortable, you don't feel like you're really good at it, and that's a very normal feeling. So with this could show that, because Pentacles is how we are, because we're from the earth, so it could be the toll that this is going to take from us, but it could also be, even though this is somebody's passion, right, that they're having to kind of like take a loss. It could be a pay cut. It could be less time with their family because they're taking off and doing something new. But there's a cost for this action. And it would be worth inwardly reflecting or talking to the person you're reading for what this possibly could be. Like, what are the pros and cons of taking this action, you know? So, of course, I keep watching this screen if you guys have questions. I'm going to adjust my screen a little bit because my neck is kind of at an angle and I'm having to use this tripod, you know, so bear with me. I'm going to readjust it. Okay, very cool. That way my neck doesn't kill me. All right, so let's say, okay, I've done this reading for somebody. And we're jiving, we're talking, you know. This is the time when you really get to know the person you're reading for really well. I would advise you have a box of tissues with you. I have had readings where this can touch on some stuff that will bring people to tears, and you want to have Kleenex there for them. But let's say while you're reading, somebody's like, you know, this is a cool reading and all, but you know, let's say, let's say the Magician card. I'm just picking a card. They'll be like, okay, you know, there's something about this card. I know what you told me about it, but I wouldn't mind maybe having a bit more information as far as this card goes, right? And I'm like, well, that's cool. I'm like, do you want me to pull from, say, our deck, and we'll see what we get? And they generally say yes. Only pull one clarifier card, okay? I don't want you guys pulling card after card, because what you also tell people is you take what resounds with you and you leave the rest. So don't ever allow somebody to make you feel less than with your readings, because again, the energy might be off. And they generally say if the energy's off, you read in about 3 days. That doesn't mean you would refund the money or anything like that. You would just like tell them, this is what the cards are showing right now. You know, again, take what resounds with you, leave the rest. I rarely have that happen. I generally have had a lot of really good outcomes with my readings. It's the skeptics, people who are really skeptical. They'll tend to challenge you a little bit, but generally this can trip them out when you lay their cards out. It's like you watch their faces. It's yeah, it's different. So let's say, okay, getting back to the topic, we'll pull one clarifier card, okay? We have the Three of Swords. I love the humor of tarot. Okay, so, and they'll say, Honor says, I like the clarifier idea. I wouldn't think about the option to do a single card clarifier on a spread. It has helped me out a ton when I read for others, especially this big monster of a spread, because Honor, sometimes it's just one card. It's generally one, maybe two, where the person I'm reading for is like, you know, this card's kind of bugging me. It doesn't quite make sense. And like, we're talking about what it could mean, and I'm telling them intuitively and what I know about the card as far as my interpretation. But yeah, you just pull that one clarifier. It just gives you another clue as to what it could be. And so with the Three of Swords, we all know this is a card associated with some pain, a truth not being known, which kind of, it might be leading to this Five of Pentacles. So think about it. If somebody is learning a new profession, going into a new relationship, they find a mentor that's like, hey, I got your back, you know. I'm going to teach you this trade and how to do your job here and how to be successful. But there's something shady about this character, because we're getting this showing there's something off here, that there's an energy that is off with this character. So I would basically tell the person to just be careful how they put their trust in other people. And if something doesn't feel comfortable, to listen to their intuition, to look at their policies and procedures at work, and to ask the questions. Because even though they're cool and they may seem like they got all their ducks in a row, there is something off to be getting this Three of Swords. And Honor says, sometimes a magician has tricks. Exactly. I love your mind. Yes, this character can be a little trickster. So think of Loki energy. This can be a trickster. So that could be leading to this potential outcome of the Five of Pentacles. So yes, I love how you just framed that. But at most, again, just one clarifier. And this, honestly, when you get to talking to people, this reading generally lasts 30 minutes. I think the earliest I finished it would be around 25 minutes, but usually it's at 30, or I've even went over a little bit on this reading with people. And Honor says, especially if it's a job opportunity, that could be a boss or management. Exactly. And it's just being careful. Do you really want that? And I think that's why our person would be so scared. This is what they're afraid of, is their life being totally uprooted. And you know what? Another way of looking at this too, just like you pointed out earlier, this is an energy with this Knight of Swords moving quickly into whatever this is. And from not giving it enough forethought and so forth, even though our foundation was the Page, but maybe they didn't stay at the Page very long before they progressed into that Knight energy. Maybe that's why we're looking at now, as an outcome, this is the result. We're looking at conflict, you know. So, and then I generally ask them if they have any other questions. And if they do, then what I do is I put my hand, okay, over the deck of cards. I don't lift them up like this. I leave them on the table. And I'll be like, I'll ask them, okay, so what is specifically, be specific with your question. And they may ask me, let me think here what they might ask me in with this reading. They'll be like, should I move forward with, say, this new job, or should I maybe look at other jobs? And I'll be like, okay, and I'll say it out loud as I focus my energy before I pull that card. And I have a Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so as we know, that's card number 10. This is like looking at the different seasons in life. This is also like making a decision. It's turning the wheel, literally making a decision. So what I see here is, I'm not like seeing somebody having a lot of time to really think on this. It could be a job opportunity where they got to act fast, or they're going to choose another candidate, or they've already spent so much time thinking about it that they don't have much longer left. But there's some sort of constraint to where they got to like pee or get off the pot. You know what I'm saying? Because we've got that with this card. The times are here. It's now. What are you going to do? So if they ask me that, I'd be like, well, it looks like you need to make a decision. So if you're not feeling so good about moving forward with this job, then maybe you should go ahead and make the decision to trust your gut instinct and not move forward with it, you know? But I always tell people this reflects where you currently are in life. This is not set in stone, because a lot of people feel like they're doomed or something crazy. This simply shows us the outcome of where we are currently based on our decisions and actions. And we have free will and the power to control our lives. Now, again, if someone's in trouble and they need medical attention, if they have depression going on, you're talking, I mean, I haven't had a suicidal person yet, but I have read for somebody who's an alcoholic, and talking about how to be safe and getting help, bad relationships, all this stuff, then you want to make sure you're giving them resources. And it's not just asking them the questions to get them to think as you're conversating, but again, Google is your friend. Offer them resources, but it's only if they're open to it. So don't overly offer. If somebody does ask you for things and you do conversate, you'll be like, I feel like, have you considered going to see a doctor or seeing a psychiatrist or what have you? And you'll gauge what they have to say. At no point in time do you ever want to be judgy or anything silly, because we all have our own biases. You're just simply having the open conversation to where it should be safe and have a flow to it. And so at the end, I was just making sure there was no new comments. I do offer them to have a picture of their spread. And I generally have them say, oh, yes, please, that would be so cool. And so I will get them a pretty good picture of the spread. And, of course, I give them my contact info if they have any questions or what have you, or need another reading. And really, that's it. And then after that, I just go ahead, I shuffle my cards up 3 times. I tap it 3 times. And one of my go-tos is tourmaline. I love using tourmaline on my decks. But basically, there's various stones that you can use. Onyx would be another one I can think of, to draw the negative energy out of your cards, So basically, just to kind of elaborate or just, demonstrate what I just did, I'll just shuffle them. And it's all about the intention with anything we do. So as I'm shuffling, I don't have to say it out loud. I'm already focusing and thinking it. I'm thinking I am clearing this deck of any negative energy. And then as I do it that 3rd time, I tap it 3 times, put it down, put my tourmaline on top, and then it's a done deal. And like I mentioned in the other go live, I'll keep my, say, 3 decks out, and then I again have the querent choose their favorite one. And then as a bonus, to be courteous and all that good stuff, I will have them pick out an oracle card if they want, which, because you guys know I like to tie up my readings with an oracle card. I will intuitively read it based on the imagery. But then, of course, there's nothing wrong with looking at the book, because they're so meaty, just to get the author's viewpoint about the oracle card, which is a lot different from tarot. Oracles are so varied with their meanings in the art. So I think that's the gist of it, honestly. So I know it's a big bear of a reading, so if you have any questions, feel free to message me or comment on the video. Tim says, a little off the subject, but you look very mysterious outside with the shadows. Oh, you're so sweet, Tim. So you're saying this suits me. My candle burned down where I had to snuff it, so I couldn't keep it on, or else I'd have candlelight on my face, But thank you. That's very sweet of you to tell me that, honey. So I wish you all a good night. And I will be back tomorrow. I don't know yet what I'll do, but I'm going to do something as far as continuing to build on our knowledge base. It may be a different spread or whatnot, but I'll think on it and I'll go live again. So yeah, just let me know if you need anything, and I hope you have a good night, and thank you for hanging out with me. Bye.